Without further ado, I would like to, welcome Althia from the African Caribbean Learners Project. Give her a round of applause.
Thank you, that's fine. Thank you. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, thanks. I almost didn't make it then. I just had to rush out. A little boy almost, threw up. I just missed it. I was trying to help clean him up, so just made it back in time. My name's Althia Lynn. Some of you may recognise me from round and about. I've got many, many hats. During the day, I'm a mother of two, but also a social worker for Gloucester County Council. In the evenings, I do a radio show, present a community radio show for Gloucester FM. And at the weekends, I work in a fashion boutique. So I'm a busy person, very busy person, but obviously very keen to take some time out today. Now, the point of me being here today is just to talk to you about the Afro-Caribbean Learners Programme that has been running for the last... It's a project that's been running really, I think, it's about 3 months now. But I got involved with World Jungle and Gloucester County Council, Adult Education, as a facilitator. Now, the reason for the project itself is that in Gloucestershire, there's only 1% take-up by Afro-Caribbeans for learning opportunities, adult learning opportunities. Significant impact as a result for the Afro-Caribbean community, because lack of learning opportunity, lack of engagement in learning leads obviously to poor social mobility, poor opportunities, poor life chances in terms of jobs, access to further education, just being able to climb the social ladder. So Gloucester County Council, in partnership with World Jungle, who are here today, decided they would actually put together a piece of work around looking at the learning needs of the Afro-Caribbean community in Gloucester. And the project was aimed really at identifying initially what the learning needs were, but also looking at what the barriers to learning were also. And then secondary to that was looking at ways of meeting those learning needs. Now, the project board consisted of a wide range of organisations, Gloucester County Council being obviously the lead organisation alongside World Jungle. But in addition to that, there was representation from voluntary and community sectors, as well as the learning providers from the voluntary and community sectors. If anybody wants me to answer questions, feel free to raise your hand, I will try to do so. Okay, and the Afro-Caribbean community makes up 21% of the BME county, of BMEs in the county altogether. So that's quite a large proportion of the BME community that is made up of the Afro-Caribbeans, half of which are living in Gloucester. And more than half of the BMEs with no qualifications actually live here in Gloucester as well. And half of those people are actually from Afro-Caribbean background. So that kind of sets the scene, the context for the reason for this piece of work. Now, as one of the facilitators, as myself from the Afro-Caribbean community, there was Vinette Poyser, also from the Afro-Caribbean community. Vinette's not here today, and there was Arthur Berryman, Arthur's around somewhere. But World Jungle and Adult Education Service actually interviewed and appointed 3 facilitators to undertake the work. Now, the work consisted of several pieces, but primarily it was about going out into the Gloucester community, speaking to the Afro-Caribbean community, and asking them to fill out surveys. I'll just hold the survey up. Some of you may or may not have seen that. Okay? That's the survey that we filled out. Now, there was a huge response, more so than you would normally get through your average sort of ways of consulting with Afro-Caribbeans and indeed black and minority ethnic communities. The facilitators went out, we did actually attend 3 major events. We went to the Kite Festival in August, and we also went to the World Together Festival in August at Gloucester Park. So that created some huge opportunities for us to be able to directly target members of the Afro-Caribbean community. As facilitators, one of the things that we felt was really useful was that because the target audience was Afro-Caribbeans, African Caribbean facilitators were actually commissioned from within the Gloucester community. Now, that made a huge difference, we felt, in terms of how we can have an impact on the target audience, but also have an impact on the work that needs to be carried on subsequent to that. Because we were from the Afro-Caribbean community, a lot of the barriers to consultation that ordinarily exist, they weren't there, because we knew the people, they were comfortable with us. If they didn't know us, they were comfortable with the fact that we were actually from the Afro-Caribbean community, and they were able to trust us. One of the things I've found with consultation in the past is that, you know, with statutory and voluntary sector organisations, the facilitator often can be, through no fault of their own, is often an alien face to the target audience that they're trying to consult with. The fact that it was Afro-Caribbeans, as I said, that barrier was removed. So that meant we could get in, we could do the work, we could get the relevant information, and we could empathise in a way that others couldn't. As a result, we had, as I said, very good responses. People even gave information quite voluntarily. People were more than happy to give contact details. There was less suspicion, particularly amongst the younger group. They were really good at giving us their feedback, giving honest experiences about what happened to them at school, but also they were happy to engage, they were pleased that things were happening, and they were happy to provide their information to be contacted in the future. As regards the actual model of consultation, I think personally it was a really good one. It was good for myself to be doing something like that, because I could measure the difference between consultation that I've undertaken in the past or indeed consultation that I've been involved with, you know, people consulting me, compared to myself as a facilitator going out there, speaking to the host community who were Afro-Caribbean, and I was an Afro-Caribbean myself. Made my work so much easier. Some of the findings, though, shocked me. Some of them I certainly knew already were existing, and so, you know, I wasn't too surprised by that. But what really concerned me, and to the greatest extent, was the number of young people, young Afro-Caribbean males in particular, who were not in education, employment or training. For me, these are the young people of our future, the Afro-Caribbean community, that's our future. For the overall community as a whole, they are people that are part of our community and also part of our future. Yet here they are, at the age of 17 plus, not able to access education or training or any employment. Now, when we spoke to some of those people, many of them were saying that experiences at school were poor. Teachers disregarded their needs. Teachers saw them as making negative contributions to the classroom, so therefore didn't give them the support that they required. Now, that story I heard time and time again. And I have to say, I was really tired of hearing it, and I did air it actually when I went to one of the feedback meetings, is that it really bothers me. It bothers me to a great extent as a member of the Gloucestershire community. It bothers me to a great extent as a worker in Gloucestershire County Council. It bothers me to a great extent as a mother of a young black male. And it bothers me to a great extent as a member of this society, that there are young people who were born free and innocent of any discrimination, who yet by the age of 16 were not able to participate in everyday life. The ongoing impact for those people is that they can't get employment because they can't get training. Employment leads to all the opportunities that we all want. A better life, a home, a car, a decent level of living, none of which is going to be accessible to these young black males at all. So we need to do a bit, we do certainly need to do a lot of work around that. A lot of them were saying, if I could see, I mean, one particular boy really touched me because he was saying he's got no job, he doesn't feel he's got any future. And we were stood in the park at the time, we were having a conversation. I said, what for you would make a difference? And he looked over and he was looking at one of the guys that was doing Increase the Peace, and he said to me that if I could see more people like him, who are like me, who can achieve, then I think I could do it. And that was, for me, was the crux of the matter. He was saying if there was a positive role model, he could follow that. If you could see there was somebody like him that was achieving, then he could have some hope. But of course, there aren't enough of those in Gloucester. Those that are available, unfortunately, are in full-time work. And mentoring requires a lot of one's time in order to support any young person through a process. And just